In this video, we will cover the survey settings. We'll start with covering the general settings, and then in later videos we will continue and cover the rest of the settings. To configure survey, open the xyzstandards.dgn library, and then go to the Explorer and expand the OpenRoads standards, expand the standards, expand the XYZ standards.dgn lib, and go down to where it says survey settings, right click and click new. You can then rename the survey settings by typing a new name in here. And we'll call this XYZ survey settings. Call that whatever you want. Each of these tabs have various settings that you can set to control the survey functionality. Under general settings, we have a setting here called create log file. If you turn that on, it will create an audit trail log file every time that you make a change to your survey. Most folks will want that on. Let's turn that on. That's true. Append notes to attributes and append notes to descriptions. In the survey package, notes that are collected in the field are converted normally to descriptions or attributes in the software. The most common thing is to add them to the description. There is no concept of notes in the software, only description is possible. So if you turn this to true, which is a very common thing to do, then any notes that are captured in the field will be seen in the software in the description properties. You can also append notes to attributes, which is not a very common practice, and that will add the note to the end of any attributes that are already existing. The next setting is apply drawing scale to fixed cells. This is not commonly used. What this option will do is, if set to true, it will scale any cells that are in the file based on the drawing scale, all survey cells. Normally leave that as false. The next option is to use VBA macros. OpenRoads Survey allows you to create or use existing VBA macros to extend the functionality of OpenRoads Survey with macros. If you have a macro that you want to use, of course it would have to be loaded automatically for every workstation. The next step would be to turn this to true. The next step is to come down to the actual VBA macros field here, use the ellipsis button here, click new, pick your object type, whether it be point or linear, pick the field code that you want to run the macro on, and then this field right here would be the actual macro settings that you would actually have to put in there that would make your macro run. The most common VBA macro used by survey is rotate cells for points. To find how to do this, simply go to the OpenRoads Open Site wikis, go to Survey Connect, then go down to the video on using VBAs to rotate cells points in survey. There's a video down here that explains how to use that, and it uses a file called smartobjects.mvba, which is located in the delivery install of OpenRoads. The next setting is attribute overrides. Attribute overrides are used to take the attribute values that were keyed in the field for a particular shot and change the way information is displayed inside of OpenRoads Survey based on that attribute. A very common thing to use this for would be to change the size of a cell used to display something such as a tree based on the attribute of a tree, which may be the size. So if someone keys in a size 12-inch tree, they would get a size 12-inch cell. If they key in a 24-inch tree, that would make the cell 24-inch or replace that cell with a 24-inch cell. To create attribute overrides, simply click in the Attribute Overrides field and then click the ellipsis button in that field. This will bring up the Attribute Overrides dialog. I'm going to import one that I've already created because you can import and export for time considerations, and it's called tree. This is the example where I'm going to be able to take a tree code and then use a 24-inch tree to be able to display it. So how does this work? You simply select what type of feature you want to change, and it's a point. That's going to be equal the tree. That's the name of the feature definition, also the name of the code. The attribute name is going to be size. You have to set that to equal. The attribute value is 24. That's what it's going to be looking for in the data. That is also an equal. And then we're going to override that with an element template. There are some other choices here. We could scale it and do things like that. That's a possibility. And it's going to use this element template. And the way that you key this in is you start with the path of the element template. Mine is in survey, and the name of the element template is called tree 24-inch. So when it finds a 24 value for the attribute, then it will use this element template to display the cell that represents a 24-inch tree. When you're done with that, you simply click accept, and of course you'd want to put the other sizes in here as this example. Click accept, and then we're done. The last setting in the general settings is validating rules. To access validating rules, simply click in the open field and then use the ellipsis button here. Validations are checks on the survey. In this example, we'll do a check to make sure that nothing in the survey is above 10,000 feet. So we simply click New. We want to look at all the point features, and there's other options in here of the different types of features in survey. We're going to pick a property, and that would be elevation. We're going to say that it's greater than, and we're going to put a value in here of 10,000. And now we can pick whether we want a warning or an error. I'll pick error. This will warn us if any point feature has an elevation greater than 10,000. Simply click accept. And now we have successfully created a validation rule. In the next video, we will continue this discussion by covering the points and the linking codes in the survey settings.